Hi friends, I'm excited to share a new layout today for the Shimmerz Paints design team. I am using the January Color Kitz, both the color kits of all of the paints and mediums, and then also the paper kit. So I love everything about the colors in this month's kits, and I had so much fun using those on this layout. So here I am using a stencil. I'm pretty sure that's a Paige Taylor Evans stencil, and I'm using that with a Ranger opaque texture paste. And I just put that on in the top right corner and the bottom left corner. I am trying to go against my natural tendency to go top left to bottom right. And on this layout, I'm intentionally going the opposite direction. So top right to bottom left, to try to see if I could make my brain work that way. So I did have to work at it a little bit, but in the end, I enjoyed I love how the layout came out. So here, what I'm doing is I am going through all of the beautiful patterned papers in the January paper kit and all of the beautiful pieces of ephemera. And I did challenge myself on this layout to try to use a bunch of the ephemera. So I often find myself tending towards flowers and or snowflakes, if there's snowflakes in something. So I was trying to use something besides those two types of things. So here I did cut strips of patterned paper, and I do want to say that the patterned paper in the Shimmerz kits is thick and beautiful. I had a friend over earlier this month that was here to scrapbook with me, and she was kind of going through and looking at all the different things, and she was like, wow, the quality of this paper is awesome. So I just thought that was something fun to add. It's thick and nice, great paper. So, and it does have kind of like a shine to it. So I love how that looks on layouts. So what I did here is I am taking the paints in the January Color Kit, and I just wanted to make big splotches of color. I can honestly tell you, I really didn't have any rhyme or reason in my mind. I wasn't trying to make it look like anything. I wasn't trying, sometimes I'm going for like a sunrise or a sunset or circles of color or, something like that. But with this layout, I really was I love the colors. So I just wanted to put big splotches of the colors on there. So the pink is the colorings. So that's a very vibrant, vivid, pigmented color that doesn't have any shimmer. But I did spray a little bit of the Spritz cotton candy on top of that. So both of those pinks are in the January Color Kit. And then the lighter turquoise on the right It's Meant to Be. That's a Shimmerz. So super shimmery medium there. And then the yellow is the Shimmerz Bumblebee, also super shimmery because it's the Shimmerz formula. And then the blue that's on the left is Pull Me Close, and that was in the January bonus bundle. So I did get the January bonus bundle this month. So I'm using that extra color, and I love how it goes with all of the patterned papers and the other colors in the collection. And so here what I did, I knew that those strips of patterned paper that I had cut and distressed the edges of, I knew I wanted to stack those up and put them across the middle. So I'm kind of going around where I know that's going to be, adding those big splotches of color. And you will see I kind of do play with where the color is and where it goes as I'm working on this layout. So I will add some more paint as I go around the different things. But for the most part, that's where the color is going to be. And you can see I did turn it upside down. So the part that I had originally thought was going to be at the top, I do end up using at the bottom. And then I went back and added some splatters of the colors, and I sat it off to dry. So it's all dry now. And then I glued down the paper. And I will say the texture paste, if you're not familiar with using texture paste, you do want to let that dry before you go and add the paint medium to it. So I added the texture paste, and then I think I went downstairs and ate, and then I came back up and it was dry, and then I added all of the paints. So that's kind of how that worked. So like I said, I knew I wanted to go top right to bottom left. So I'm kind of playing around with the embellishments at this point and trying to decide where they're going to go. I did use 2 photos of my babies. So this is from January of last year, and we live in Texas. So our winters, with the exception of this very moment, our winters are pretty mild. And so my kids are both in like short sleeves and they're outside playing in the front yard. So one is on my daughter's on her scooter and my son was on his rollerblades. So those are two things that they both got for Christmas last year. And we were spending the first part of January outside in the beautiful weather, using those things. So that's kind of the theme for the layout, was like just a beautiful, happy January day. And the colors were perfect for that. So they really did match like what my daughter was wearing and the kind of the vibe in the pictures. So I used the big yellow tag that says Hello January. I did distress the edges of that. I poked a hole in it, and then I'm going to end up adding some embroidery thread to that. And then I took my circle cutters and went and cut some of the circles. I used some of the pattern papers to cut circles out of. And off camera, I did run a couple of those, 3 or 4 of those, through my texture, little texture folders that I have. I ran it through my Spellbinder Platinum 6 that you can just roll. It's a die cutting machine, but I also have the texture folders that you can run through there. So I added some good zigzag texture to some of the circles of pattern paper that I cut to match the texture paste that's on the background. So I love repeating patterns. And then, so I took the circles of the pattern paper and then all kinds of little pieces of the ephemera. And there are some phrases and some little like phrase circles and phrase strips. There are buttons, or like big, paper buttons. And I did add some thread to some of those. And if you follow my layouts, I usually do trim the white edges off of most of the ephemera that I use. For this layout, I did not do that. I left the white edges on because I kind of liked how the white played around with the black that I'm using and the other colors. And so I left the white edges. Maybe I'm turning over a new leaf. I don't know. Maybe it's just a one-off. This is probably the only time it'll ever happen. But I did on this layout love how those white edges looked on those little pieces of ephemera. So I did layer a bunch of different things. I ended up taking that little phrase sticker, or the little phrase word that right there that I just added. I ended up taking that off. But most of the stuff is where it's going to go, where it's going to end up. And here I'm just playing around with the placement of stuff. I'm moving stuff around as I go, seeing what I like, how I like the different look of the different things. I did add the arrow. So that pink arrow on craft foam is going to go right there on top of the photo of my daughter. And then I have a black arrow that is going to point to my son. And it kind of matches their outfits. I thought that was cute. Both of those arrows were from the ephemera set in the January kit. So I thought both of those were perfect because his outfit is really dark. It's a navy, but it looks really good with that black arrow. And then her outfit has pink. So I thought that was super cute. And both of those are going to be kind of layered on top of the photos. And then here, what I'm doing, the snowflakes, there were 2 snowflakes in that ephemera set. So I added a sequin to the center of the one at the bottom. And then the snowflake at the top, off camera, I added sequins to each of the ends of the snowflakes. There's like 6 little tips. So I added sequins and then a French knot stitch on each of those sequins. And those are from the January bonus bundle. So all of the sequins that I used on the layout are from the January bonus bundle. And then here you can see I'm kind of going back and adding color in and around where I covered up most of the color that I had added on the background. So I went and just kind of added a little bit more because I wanted it to kind of have like a better flow. It sort of looked to me when I first started like the color just stopped, and I didn't want the color to just stop abruptly. I kind of wanted it to fade in and fade out. So I went and added a little bit more color around. And it's not natural for me to go this direction on my layout. So I kind of had to play around with it to see where I wanted the color to go. I always know where it needs to go when I'm going the other direction. It's kind of funny how our brains work and tend to go one way or the other. But for me, I just kind of played around with it, and I do end up liking how it looks. And the texture paste is not an overwhelming detail on the background, but it does add I love to look at a layout and see, oh my gosh, I didn't notice that the first time I looked at it. Oh, look at that. There's something else to notice. I love to see lots of different layers and lots of different types of things on layouts. And I love to look at them and like keep looking at them and keep looking at them and seeing different things. So the texture paste is one of those things you might not notice right away, but as you look at it more, you kind of see, oh, there's something more to the color on the background. So I love how that looks. There was a lot of black in the January color kit, and there is a black color splash that I did not end up using on the layout, but I did go in and add some little black sequins that I had from or little black crystals that I had in my stash, just to kind of tie in some of the black that I had around the layout. So I love to repeat, if there's a color on there that I'm using as an accent, I want it to repeat in lots of different places. So I added some black, and then most of the little pieces and parts that I add to my little clusters of embellishments are from the bonus bundle, the sequin set. But I did also add a few little things for my stash because, I can't help myself. And then here I am adding pops of color. Those are from scrapbook.com. And I just picked out the colors that match the January Color Kitz. I have every color, so I had lots of colors to choose from that match really well. And I love this combination of like a pink, turquoise, and yellow. Love how that looks. So there's the finished layout. There's a lot going on, but I love it all. And I couldn't stop. So I just kept adding layers and details. I do have, if you have any questions, you can pop them down in the comments below. And then also if you place an order, put my name, Sarah Millerhouse, in the order to get a free small gift. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. Bye for now.